So last time you guys wrapped up kind of your talk with the king and queen. You talked a little bit about the new weapon that you have, Dawn's Edge. You learned a little bit about the city and surprised by a massive old skeletal structure of a purple worm hanging above the rafters. You inquired about the ruins that weirdly nobody seems to be able to venture into, but how when this kingdom was created, it was spewing out odd monsters that were attacking them until they were finally able to construct a wall, and ever since then things have been quiet. And then you learned that it'll be about another day or two before the opening to the hot springs is made functional. And before that does, they will send for you to make sure that should anything come flying out of the darkness, you're all prepared to take that on. You guys then went to the Serpent's Maw, a tavern within the kingdom owned by a Mistress Tarbitha, and had a wonderful evening filled with drinks, almost choking themselves to death on said drinks, much dance and frivolity, and then ending the evening with this beautiful ethereal performance by the mistress herself before you have retired to your rooms, where you all awake from a nice long rest. What would you guys like to do?
I forgot in the last session, but I am a hoarder of magic and a spoiled child.
Yes.
And I was told after I ate a rather fermented brain in a tomb that upon my next rest, if I were to spend some time in my spellbook, I might acquire something new. And I went 3 rests, my friend, without saying anything about it.
It's true. You have gone 3 rests. You didn't say that you're in your spellbook, but whatever. I'll give it to you.
I'm saying it now, William.
You have now within your brain the spell Dragon's Breath.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yes.
Spicy!
That's the spicy meatball.
Thank you, my lord.
Level 2 bonus action touch. You get to spew whatever you choose for an element. It's pretty good. It's pretty spicy.
Yeah, we do love a bonus action spell.
Love a good spice.
We love it a spice on the madness table. We love it a spice.
The non-erotic spice, for those following along.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
non-erotic spice. Except for Beatrice, because you know her and Starcaller,
Oh,
anyways.
boy.
Yeah, all spices for Beatrice.
Reserved for Beatrice.
Yes.
Only. You guys have woken up, and it's probably gotta, you feel it in your bones. Even though you've been in the tub, Scylla, all night, it's been a perpetual warm soak. Not even the deep lake felt this warm. And so you wake, and the muscle aches and the pulled muscles and all that kind of stuff, that's faded away. You awake wonderful. Sephel, your mind almost has never felt clearer through the meditation that you've gone through. And Starcaller, you're like, hell yeah, another great friggin' day within the city of Dmyra, because this is the life right now.
This place is just one big spa.
Kind of.
It is pretty nice.
There is someone who I would like to see today. Actually, 2 things I would like to do today. Starcaller, do you know where Grumbles the Seer lives?
Oh no.
Grumble's the one who lurks in the shadows, predicting doom and devastation?
Yes, the great oracle who predicted the devastation of these lands.
He seemed quite distraught
He was correct, yes.
I guess... No. When you put it like that, I guess Grumble's had a couple points.
I think it would be unwise to go into something so dangerous without addressing any fountains of wisdom, especially of the oracular kind.
Exactly, Sephel.
Yep, fair enough. Let us go seek Grumbles, the Oracle.
Would he appreciate a gift? Perhaps we could bring him something.
I'm sure he would. What do you have in mind?
I would like to craft him something quickly.
What you crafted him quickly?
I think Scylla is gonna make him like a necklace of acorns on her way over.
Where'd you
Or,
get
like,
the acorns?
Like nuts of like something. The equivalent of underdark acorns. Whatever that is. Zirkwood? Awesome Zirkwood?
Have you just been, like, plucking nuts while we walk through just in case someone wants them?
Somebody might want a gift, Sephel.
Hey, y'all, I've never been to the surface, but look at these acorns I found.
Yeah.
No, hear me out. It was the equivalent.
Okay.
This looks like the nut in particular of the mighty white oak tree.
The mighty.
Or so I have heard tell.
Native to northeastern Faerun.
Oh, God. You know what? I'll tell you this. Because there's not really nuts for the vegetation down here.
What happened to your yes and attitude, Will?
No, this is a no but. This is a no but. But
Okay.
you know, in the river there is certain vegetation, and there's a like almost like a seaweed that has like these odd pearls that kind of grow within it, and it looks like bubbles. And you know how to harvest these kind of clear stones that they grow, and so that would be the thing. You're like, oh, I know, I can make him one of these.
The Triton colloquially call them sea acorns. And I will now make this necklace.
I've heard of such a thing. In fact, I believe shorthand they are called sea corns.
Sea
Yes,
corns,
it's
thank
the
you.
sea corns.
Sephel, that is correct. Sea corns.
I've
A
been
sea corn
reading-
necklace.
I've been reading up on cultures in my spare time.
Yeah, if only you had Indigo's old book with all of his notes, you'd know more.
Oh, what are you gonna do, Dad?
He shares it with me every night, you fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you talk to his ghost.
Oh.
Okay, so you go out.
I can never truly die.
I just imagine the skull.
Yeah, right.
Poor Yorick.
Yeah.
Poor Indigo.
I knew
all
him
right.
well.
Do I need to roll for this? Or I just do it?
Are you proficient in any tools? Just curious.
I'm proficient with calligrapher's supplies.
Okay. All right.
That's not really.
It's not really the thing.
Yeah, no, that's not really the thing.
Explain how that works.
I don't think it does, to be honest.
It's okay. This is like little kid Triton stuff, like friendship
I'm making
bracelet.
a macaroni necklace, yes.
Yeah, it's totally fine. To anybody else, it might look
cool.
like a work of art, but you're like, this is nothing.
I have proficiency in leatherworker tools. I can help you put it on like an actual band. I help
No
Scylla with whatever material I have on hand to make
Mhm.
her sea corn necklace
Great.
to give to Grumbles the Underdark Oracle.
Yes.
We have truly given into absurdism.
You really have. Okay. Well, you take some time in the morning to make this sea corn necklace. And then it hits you, Starcaller. Nobody knows where to find Grumbles. He doesn't have a house. And he's probably one of the only few denizens in the entirety of Dimcairn that doesn't have a home, because you know the people here are pretty good about, like, you know, making sure that everyone's fed and clothed and that there's a home for them to go to. But Grumbles is an enigma.
But
he
not
don't
that
follow.
guy.
He
Not
just
that
does
guy.
not follow the rest of the rules.
Fuck that guy in particular.
I picture us like walking out and then like stopping and being like, oh, this is a tad embarrassing. I have no idea where that guy lives.
Does he work somewhere?
Oh, definitely not. No.
Yeah, Grumbles don't work.
He just pops up whenever there's conspiratorializing to be done.
Then we shall conspiratorialize.
Oh, well that's easy then. I just shout into the ether. The Deep King did sloop-a-doop.
A whole bunch of people just like out and about in the streets, just like turn
Yeah,
around. You're
right.
like, what the fuck does that mean? And then far in the
Yeah.
distance, you just hear like, I told you. I
Found
told
him.
Follow the voice.
Yeah, you just hear a faint cry like, I told you all.
That way.
And you make investigation checks here.
Can I bullshit advantage because I made him come out of hiding?
You summoned him.
No, the city's
Okay,
huge. I'm
that's
not going
fair.
to give that.
8.
8.
14.
Great. 14. Awesome.
11.
Yeah, you're like Sephel, you're just like, I think it's coming from the north, perhaps? I'm not entirely sure though. And where you guys are is kind of along this northern bend where you see your tokens. You have the temple to the far left of you, so to the west. You have the bridge that goes to the north. And you were kind of able to see there's like a town map within the tavern that to the north is like the Dwellin Mines and what they call the Bug Farms, and then the ruins.
Oh. Do you see him?
I
Not-
do not.
Not particularly. Just 1 second. I heard that Thembershoud is an overgrown kobold benefiting from late-stage capitalism.
What a crock of horseshit!
Was that
When-
him?
Make a perception check.
I would assume that was...
11.
Some other person yells, "Who the fuck is Themberchild?"
I did roll a nat 20 on that.
Ooh.
Jesus.
Okay, so you guys have been making your way kind of towards the bridge, and you see far on the other side is this small figure that you heard scream out like, "That's a crock of horseshit!" And you see it's this dark cloaked kobold, and then after it yells it just like hobbles off in a different direction towards the bug farms.
There! Hurry!
That way.
This is turning into Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, right. Jinkies.
You guys make it across the bridge, and you find yourselves now being surrounded with the sounds of hammers and metal being hit. You see that there is a huge stone kind of manor off to the west of you, and before it are these dark and red kind of shingled buildings, and you see numerous soot-covered kobolds moving about, and you can feel an even more intense heat than you have felt within the entirety of the cavern here. But you don't see that dark cloaked figure. What do you do?
Scylla's gonna yell out, Dagon destroyed the Triton Citadel!
Scylla, that's not a conspiracy. That's just an
Oh.
unknown fact.
I did not understand what we were doing.
No.
Yeah, there's no cry or anything. It's just you hear the forges and stuff working.
A conspiracy is typically something that, I guess, a connection that could be drawn from certain information that doesn't make sense to logical individuals, but
It
could
sounds-
be surmised and spread through the masses through enough strong.
But I would know it was not true.
Sure, to some degree.
Hmm. I will not participate.
I cannot lie, as I stated last episode.
I
Um,
cannot.
Should we look around here in the smithies and see if he's about?
It did seem like he was heading towards the bug farms. Perhaps we should check there first.
Yes.
Fair enough. I have business at the smithies later, so if not, we can check there later. But yes, the bug farms. That's a good place for a creepy loner to hang out. But no offense, bug farmers.
You, Starcaller, know that the bug farms are actually run by a tribe of goblins that were the ones that introduced the domestication of like giant caterpillars and spiders that they call steeders and stuff like that to the kobold people, because they were kind of like this roving people throughout the Underdark. And then King Boletaire actually formed an agreement and was like, you come back here and we'll build you homes, give you full access to food, but you have to teach us how you do this with the bugs because we want to use that. And so the goblins like totally accepted. They were like, hell yes, we want this. Free food, obviously. You want a bug? That's fine. No big deal. And so they've been here, as you've been told, for probably the last 60 or so years. And in terms of military within the kingdom, because you would also know that everybody within the kingdom is educated in like some of the most basic sciences that the city kind of masters itself in, which is, you know, alchemy, metallurgy, and the such. But everybody's also trained just in case should anything come through the gate castle, everybody can fend for themselves, you know, should the worst happen. And so what the bug farmers, or this goblin tribe, do, they kind of serve as almost like a cavalry of sorts because they are so adepted with the bugs. However, they made a request when making this kind of agreement that they are not used except in extreme cases of emergencies. However, they do still train and are quite formidable. So they're not pushovers, but, you know, they definitely kind of have like their own section of the city that they tend to stick to, but you see them moving about often.
I relay a summarized version of that to my party.
Absolutely. So that's where you guys are headed. You're headed towards the bug farms instead of the dwelling mines and smithies.
Aye, the bug farms.
Okay. You guys make your way over there, and Sephel, you can just see it looming over everything. Even closer now is that ruined city section and the tower far beyond it with the floating stone bits of it and the stalagmites growing around it. But as you get closer and closer, you see more goblins everywhere. They're a little bit larger, not quite as big as Indigo was as a hobgoblin, but they have this gray-skinned tufts of hair. You actually see that they like to adorn themselves with various bits of jewelry, like they have lots of gold and rings and stuff like that, but they are all wearing various forms of like riding leathers as well. But as you're kind of moving throughout, you see that there's numerous kind of like stone fences that keep in, all sorts of different large insects. You see giant fire beetles, you see the centipedes, you see more spiders, and then you eventually come across fields that are growing and cultivating various forms of fungi that you have encountered within the Underdark, but now it seems like it's done with a purpose. But you don't see a ton of it. And you see there's like a group of goblins talking and stuff like that. But you guys are free to do perception checks or investigation checks unless you want to try to talk to anybody about seeing grumbles.
Yeah. Can I maybe make like a persuasion check to kind of talk through finding grumbles with somebody?
Yeah, sure. Who do you want to approach? You want to approach a group, a singular person? What you thinking?
Yeah, I'll find someone who's like, standing around, who doesn't look too involved. Someone who's maybe just like relaxing and has an eye out.
Sure. You see a particular goblin that seems to be kind of like leaned up against a water barrel, and he kind of like eyes you walking over, and he tips his head towards you.
Aye, my friend, we are seeking Grumbles. The one who grumbles. Have you seen him by chance?
Oh, yeah, Grumbles. I might have seen him come by here, but honestly, I'm chasing so many bugs about, it's hard to keep track of them.
Oh, I understand. Bugs come, bugs go. So many insects, so little time.
Exactly, I'm glad you understand that.
I'll press a couple gold pieces into his palm.
Oh, well, sir, I saw him head over that way, actually. In fact, he's over there behind that building. Surprised you didn't see him, he's right there. And you just, you peek over, and you literally see Grumbles just, eyeballing you with these huge, wide eyes, just
Sephel, who got a 27 on his investigation check, has been locked eyes with Grumbles the entire time.
And they're just you guys are just who's gonna blink first? Who's gonna blink first?
Yeah, I've been trying to, gesture to fucking Starcaller, he saved the money. He's right there. Okay, never mind.
There he is.
Oh. Now that you say it, it is very obvious. Well, thank you, my friend. And I'll rejoin my friends and seek
the Grumbles. Grumbles comes out, and he is this. I don't know if I described him before, but he's got this multicolored kind of tiger stripe skin, dark greenish with even darker colored stripes. He's got these very red orange eyes. It's orange in the middle with the black pupil. It looks like they're bloodshot. And if you zoom in on his token, it looks like he has a piece of wood literally strapped as some kind of handmade cap above his head, and he has these horrible tattered robes, and he smells fucking awful. You know how earlier I described the city as everybody's clean and there's no messes? He's disgusting. He's literally super disgusting. Yeah. And he's just what do you want?
Hello, great seer.
Great seer, nobody appreciates me and my knowledge.
I am so sorry to hear that you are underappreciated as the lone foreteller of this city.
I don't really care. What do you want?
Well, I have a gift for you. And she's gonna hold out the necklace.
He goes, ah!
What is this?
It is a it is a peace offering to show our hopeful camaraderie between us and you, to hopefully speak with you about what you have seen. Your most recent, well, maybe not most recent, but we have questions.
This is an offer of peace. Have we had fisticuffs of some sort?
Absolutely not.
And then he jumps on you and just grabs your face, and he's pulling at the skin and is
shh, don't speak.
And then he's just leaning back, and his eyes are twitching. He's and he's still holding your face, and his legs are his knees and his legs are pressed against your chest, and he's just snaps back, and his eyes are right in front of yours. His snout's pressed against your nose, and he's
I see nothing for you,
and lets go of you and drops down.
Is that good? I can't tell.
That
could be good,
so
could be bad.
Long for no results.
He just slow head turns towards you, Sephel, and he goes,
I presume you can do better.
Well, I can see things a bit better than that, but you won't hold your mind much longer if I do.
Oh, is that so? And then he just and throws himself at you, and he's holding your tentacles. He's got one in each hand, and then his feet, his clawed feet, has them pinned to your chest, and he's staring at your beak, and he's
Yes.
And he snaps back towards you, and he turns your head, and he's looking into one of your eyes, and you just smell booze coming off of him, and you're trying not to retch as well, and it's just one bloodshot eye basically about to touch yours. Sweat's coming down, you can see it running on his skin, and then he slowly lets go and crawls back down your body and goes,
You are like me, an outsider. I sense
What
great
gave it
doom.
away? The fucking tentacles?
Yes. Absolutely. We don't see many of you.
See? He is a seer.
Scylla.
Of course I am.
Sakes.
What does it you really want from me?
We would like to know what you have seen about the demon princes who have destroyed Sloopadoop, or perhaps anything you might know about Gracklestug.
You think
We've
I
seen
can just
visions.
You think I can just whip out visions willy-nilly whenever I want to?
Any
I
good
don't
seer
know.
would be able to.
I thought that was how it worked, yes.
No, I can't just go, please give me a vision, and it just pops into my head. No, they come when they want to.
Well, what about what you've already seen?
I
Anything?
haven't seen too much, honestly. It's hard to look at them in the visions because I listen. If you run into them, you will lose your mind. I don't know if you're smart enough to know this, learned enough, but they will make you literally shit your pants and lose your mind.
Well, some of us did encounter them, and as far as I'm aware, we have our minds and unsoiled pants.
And he crawls back up your robes again, and he's like once again like looking into one of your eyes, Sephel. He's like,
Yes, I see there's a touch of madness about you. You have, in fact, stared into the abyss, and it has stared back.
I feel like I'm getting real like. So on the surface, we have these things called mediums, and they're wildly bullshit. It's like you're just saying the things that I want you to say, that seem wildly obvious. Do you actually see anything?
Do you see what's on my head?
do you see it? And he's like pointing to the piece of wood. He's like,
This protects me from unsightly visions. If I take it off, I might be blessed with true madness.
I would like to just whack the wooden plank off of his head.
Sephel!
make an attack roll, a melee attack roll,
Okay.
and he's gonna, we'll see if you get him.
Such a fucking waste.
What's he get?
A natural 20.
Oh no!
You knock it off, and you see that like there's actually just like his scales have come back, and there's this exposed skull there, and where the two horns that most of the other
Oh my
kobolds
gosh.
have, those have actually been like removed. And so he just starts screaming. He's just like, and he drops off of you, and he's like, his back is arching, and he's like,
They come, reaching from the darkness. They have been called. A great mage, seeking even greater power. Find the great hoard of knowledge. Giants! An army. I see an army needed. You venture forth. The cap, I hear the cap.
and he's like crawling on the ground.
I will
towards
put
his
the
piece
plank
of
back
wood.
on his head.
And then he's just like normal, and he's like,
What happened?
I made you useful. Thank you for your time.
I think we should. Here. She puts the necklace on his head, around his neck.
This is lovely, thank you. I don't know who you are. Have we met before?
Nope. Total
Yes.
strangers.
Well,
Right then,
I
piss
think
off.
I'll start guiding her away.
yeah, he's like,
Right, piss off.
and then he just starts walking along the riverbank a little ways away.
so what do we make of that? We are seeking a hall of knowledge?
Find the Hoard of Knowledge. Giants. I see an army. A great mage seeking great power.
I don't know anyone like that.
Oh. I was about to say. That's totally Sephel, right?
Oh,
I mean,
Sephel?
you're flattering me, but
Yes, the only mage I know.
There are many mages. We have encountered some.
That's interesting.
Scylla, you got your cape from a mage.
Well, just because I got it from a mage doesn't mean they were great.
No, I'm just saying, I am not the only magical practitioner. I also don't know how I would pertain to this prophecy.
Cilius, we thought you were important. My bad.
Truly a foolish thought. But the other things might be of no giants. Have we?
We've run into any.
I don't think I've seen any giants down here.
That's
good. Do you know of any Starcaller?
I absolutely do not. Which is for the best.
I suppose we should go to the smithy while we are here.
Okay, well, sounds great.
Okay. One bit of knowledge that you have in your time here within the city, Artomis, is that the smithies of the Dwellin mines are almost exclusively employed by the Dwellin family, and not many people get into them. The only people that you know from those particular group of people are the Dwellin sisters, Hilda, Gilda, and Trilda, who work outside of their grandfather's sphere of influence, because they are considered the greatest smiths and artificers, essentially, of the greater kingdom. And so they work kind of in conjunction with their family and King Boletaire. However, there are numerous other small practicing smiths. However, they have a lot of trouble kind of keeping the business because the Dwellin family hoards, kind of like attracts and indebts many of the smiths within the city. So where are you kind of trying to head to? Are you trying to track down the sisters? Are you trying to find like any kind of smithy, or are you trying to get into the Dwellin smiths?
I'm looking to find the triplets.
The triplets. Okay.
Me too.
All right. So you know that sometimes they spend their days within the Dwellin smithies. You also know, kind of a local bit of knowledge, that there are how the days work within the city of Dmyra. They follow kind of like an 8-day week. Every on the 4th and 8th day, the market is open, and that's where kind of like everybody gathers. That's where most of the wares are sold. That's where new orders are placed. And then for the 1st and 2nd day of the week, everybody rests, and that is extremely well respected. And even days that, like the 3rd day and then the 5th, 6th, and 7th, nobody necessarily goes to each other's homes and kind of like demands something of them. However, the sisters kind of doing their own things. They could be at the Dwellin mines and smithies, or they could be within the Dusk Fort, where the Scale Guard predominantly resides, because they also forge quite a few of their arms and armaments as well. So it's up to you where you want to check first.
Since we're over by the smithies, we'll check in there, but I'm kind of thinking they might be more towards the fort. But since we're by the smithy, let's just pop in and ask around.
Okay. As you guys kind of approach these low, dark, and red kind of shingled buildings, you see that there's a couple guards outside. However, these particular kobolds, and you see a couple troglodytes wandering about, are not wearing the armor of the greater kingdom. They don't have the insignia. In fact, they have a totally different emblem upon these coal black breastplates and plate armor, and you see that their weapons and their armor are very finely made. But instead of kind of like the dragon head with a flame on it, it just has a flame upon their, their pauldrons and stuff. And as you approach the entrance, two of the kobolds cross spears and then kind of like step into each other. They're like, "What is your business here?"
My friend, I seek, the three sisters. Are they in today?
Who calls upon the sisters?
Aye, Artomis Starcaller, Lion of the Deep, Sword of King Balitair, and Wielder of the Dawn's Edge.
Right. Well, give us a moment. If they're not preoccupied with the Sir, we'll see if they're interested in meeting you, Artomis Starcaller. And one of them turns around while the other kind of steps in front of the stairs, and they head into the smithy. It's about maybe 15 or so minutes later that they come back and they go, "I regret to inform you that the sisters are not here. However, if you do find them, let it known that the Sir would like to see them."
It would be my pleasure to send the regards. A good day to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
To the Dusk Fort.
All right. As you guys are making your way back across the city and you cross over the bridge, you see a couple of individuals exit out of the temple nearby to the west here. And you see that they are these kind of lighter scaled kobolds, and they are dressed in shining armor with these kind of blue tabards that have what looks like a talon grappling some kind of orb upon that. And Artemis would kind of relay this to you, that these are members of kind of like the clergy. They are clerics of Bahamut, and they call themselves the Platinum Talon. And while the greater city doesn't have a police force of any kind, they almost act like instantaneous judge and jury to whatever crimes or faults that are happening within the greater kingdom. And I imagine this is kind of like you're just filling them in on like the local culture, the laws, and different things like that. Now, the Platinum Talon and the kingdom have agreed, as this is kind of a greater democracy. Yes, there's a king and queen, but they only act in times of military duress. Otherwise, they don't get to just be like, this is law, we get to do whatever we want. Once a month, a greater meeting amongst the entire society, for those that want to, assembles, in which they bring up any kind of disparities or interests and stuff like that, and any greater trials which involve murder or anything of that kind of nature. They actually kind of hold a greater assembly and everybody votes upon it. But these guys act on kind of like petty crime, or say cases of like adultery or something like that. They can be called upon at any point, and while they don't sort anything out with violence, they use the guidance because they're all lawful good. Like, I'm just telling you that in game mechanics. But because they, Bahamut, being a lawful god, and the god of justice, a minor god of justice, directly almost interacts with them and helps guide their hand. And so their word is taken unless they say this should be brought to a greater assembly. So you're kind of like, watch out, they're good, but if you fuck up, they're going to come get you. And so you guys eventually make your way down to the Dusk Fort. You eventually pass by like Beatrice's apothecary, and you see, a small little crowd kind of like coming in and out. It seems like there's appointments. Sue actually comes out and like waves to you guys before somebody kind of like rushes in, and she's like, "Oh shit, I gotta go." But as you're getting to the entrance of the Dusk Fort, you see, in fact, coming out are the three sisters, and they kind of wave at you, Starcaller.
Ah, how convenient. Ah, Trilda, Hilda, Gilda, how are you this fine day?
Oh, we're all right. Starcaller, what can we do for you all?
We are actually coming to speak to you about, I was out testing this awesome gear you lent me, and I bring out the Gauss Ballista.
Gilda runs forward from the group, and she's like, yeah, how did it test? How did it go?
Extremely well. I will say, we were fighting ghosts, as it turns out, and it is not the most effective against incorporeal opponents, but with a little bit of nudging, it still got quite a bit of effectiveness, I'll have you know. But next time we fight flesh and blood, it'll go right through them. I, unfortunately did not pick up any of the bolts because, well, again, they were ghosts, so they went right through them and exploded in the wall, but very effective.
Well, that's very good to hear. What about the size? We were going to try to go smaller. I know you like to get in and out of the fights, but was it too cumbersome? Any adjustments that need to be made? Clearly, you need something that can fight the incorporeal, which we're not exactly sure on how to do.
Well, I have good news on that front. And I'm going to do the whole holding up Dawn's Edge and draping the area in sweet shadow, and inviting my friend to introduce herself.
To which she does, and the sisters immediately come over, and you can feel Dawn's Edge actually getting a little anxious. She's like, why are there's so many, and they're all touching me? Why are they all touching me? Can we put me down, please? And the sisters are like, oh my god, it's fantastic, and they're trying to get Dawn's Edge to tell them everything. But she's just pleading with you, Artemis, please.
Yeah. I'll snatch her back. No, my friends, a little too much attention. There will be time. There will be time, but let's give Dawn's Edge a little space here.
Yes, of course. Sorry about that. But you do have to admit, can we get a better look at another time? Perhaps?
Absolutely.
I suppose I should be
not
asking
worry.
you, Dawn's Edge. Is it alright if we were to talk at another time?
Look at that. Very good work there, Gilda.
Thank you. And Dawn's Edge kind of just reluctantly agrees, perhaps, but she's like, I prefer to be gently handled, thank you. And not put it in the dark, please. I prefer where there's much light. And the sisters kind of stare at each other, but they nod and they're like, all right. But then one of them points to you, Scylla, and goes, we do have a shield for you.
I am very excited to hear that. I was planning on asking you about it sometime today.
Well, we'll have to go get it and bring it to you. Are you staying within the fort, or are you staying at the Serpent's Maw? Where are you all?
We're at the Serpent's Maw, and actually we have just come from the smithies. We sought you there, and they bid us tell you that the sir there would like to see you.
You see them all collectively roll their eyes, and they're like, ugh, I suppose it's been almost a week. We should probably go back, check in, see what the old geezer wants now. Yes, we'll either send one of the moles perhaps, over with the shield, if we can't bring it ourselves, but expect that. Do you need more bolts? Do you need us to make any adjustments?
Some more bolts would be lovely. If in a future incarnation this could be a little smaller, that would be most welcome, but I'm in no rush.
Alright, well, if you want us to make any smaller adjustments, we will need to take it and have some time to fiddle with it.
Well, how about this? Let's have a little more ammo and a little bit more field testing. I need a little bit of range on my next assignment, so I would very much like to keep this with me for a while longer.
All right. We'll get a handful more bolts out to you as quick as we can, and we'll check back in later. Great. Good.
Perfect.
All right. And they take off, letting you know that they will send a mole with the shield if they can't be there. And you know, Starcaller, that they have a type of postal service of sorts within the city of Dmyra. that is kind of called the Burrow, but they refer to all the kobold runners who kind of move stuff about the city for people, moles.
No.
Aw.
Yeah, so what do you guys want to do now?
I have accomplished my errands.
Yes, me as well. Did you have something you'd like to do here, Sephel?
No, nothing in particular.
Then I suppose we are at our leisure until we leave on the tomorrow.
Yes, that sounds good to me. We must prepare ourselves to delve into the hot springs.
Okay. Is there any particular points of interest that you guys would like to investigate, or would you like to kind of settle in back at the Serpent's Maw until you're called?
I guess the only thing... Starcaller, is there anything of an archive or a place of knowledge in Dimcairn that we might investigate for perhaps uncommon knowledge of the ruins that I would like to investigate at a later time, or for a more current endeavor, where we should probably learn as much as we can about these slod creatures.
That is a good idea.
Indeed.
Starcaller, you would know that there is a library of sorts. Whether they have that knowledge or not, you're not entirely sure. Do you think Starcaller's actually spent time within the library?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you know there.
Not my.
Yeah. You know that there is a library kind of over towards the Coalfire Keep, and there's almost like it's kind of interlocked with a type of almost museum where a lot of the history is kept of the kingdom, short as it may be. But you guys can absolutely go there and peruse any of the tomes or books within it for this kind of knowledge.
And we might as well. Any information that we can gain is powerful tools we did not have before.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, you guys make your way over to the kind of manor district until you reach this kind of towered building here. If you're looking at Roll20 where I'm pinging, you arrive within and you see it's kind of like a typical library, rows and rows, 2 floors worth of books and scrolls and tomes. And then you see that there are pedestals with like old arms and armaments in one wing, and kind of like grisly trophies of animals. You, Starcaller, remember that the latest addition within the museum section is the head of the Umber Hulk that you helped kill with King Boletaire. That kind of solidified your place within the city of Dimcairn and the Kingdom of Ember. But there is one particular kind of downtrodden looking kobold in there. They're of a darker, almost brown kind of color, and they have these odd looking spectacles of multiple different colors that they kind of like move about their face. And they kind of look up and they're like, I'm Caucasian. Welcome to the stores. Can I help you find anything?
Yes, we were looking for knowledge about particular creatures that I suppose some of you might have come upon in your hot springs. Are you familiar with slods?
Oh, only in the recent writings that have just come to us from the Gate Castle, where they had done some of the dissections. I can happily show you the diagrams of their anatomy. But other than that, I can say soundly that we don't have any other prior knowledge of them.
I suppose that would be more useful than nothing, if you could direct
Yes.
me in that direction.
Yes, of course. Please come with me. And he leads you over to a particular corner where there is a few tables set about with all sorts of new scrawlings. And he goes, so these are all things yet to be cataloged. Please, if you can, leave these particular writings here within the section so that we may later bind them and add them to our collections. But right here is the slod diagrams. And let me know if I can help you find anything else. Otherwise, feel free to browse.
Thank you very much.
Of course. And they leave you alone.
Yeah, and I will just peruse through the diagrams and any writings to see if there is anything that we hadn't previously been told about them. Just reading up, getting as much knowledge as possible.
The few notes that they have on it, basically it shows kind of a Da Vinci-esque like sprawl diagram of the slod kind of stretched out, some of the anatomy kind of pinned open, you see on a couple of different pages showing kind of like their intestinal system and different things like that. I won't go into more details for some squeamish kind of listeners. But you see some of the most interesting notes is that their claws, there's like a big note that's like avoid, avoid, avoid. And it shows that their claws, particularly the red one that they had killed, have these hollow claws in which eggs reside. And they make a note that like a handful of those kobolds that had made it out of the hot springs before the collapse that were wounded within a number of hours to a day ended up erupting with these gross tadpole-like creatures that were quickly killed off. And you see there's a couple of notes there that the tadpoles are voracious and they leap and eat just about anything they can, and they mutate extremely quickly, very, growing arms and legs with almost everything that they consume. And they almost had a full-grown another red slod within the gate castle before it was finally put down. And that was just with one tadpole. The rest were killed off very quickly. Other than that, there's not too much note other than that it took quite a bit for their arms to seemingly do damage to the slods. And that's all you get from these notes.
Do we think it would be worth it to attempt different types of damage upon the corpse?
It's...
Scylla,
I mean,
this is a book. You cannot damage it. This is a library.
Carkelian will kill you.
I am all for experimentation. I don't know how much the test will yield to a dead body. We can certainly see if there's any reactions or non-reactions with the hide, I suppose. I guess there's nothing in there of like, well, obviously because none of them figured it out. There's nothing of like how to protect against the claw or perhaps nullify it in any way. It's just if it hits you, you're fucked.
They have no idea simply because the overwhelming amount of damage that had occurred from wherever they had come from, and because of this, the serious danger of more of them appearing and mutating out of the dead, no further tests have been run. And you actually see that there is a note that the remaining bodies of the slods had been sent down the river to that kind of abyss that led into the depths and hopefully to be incinerated.
So we can't. They're not even around to experiment on.
Nope, they got rid of them.
But we don't know like the timing. Like, is that right? Like we don't know. Like, is incubation only if you're dead? Or I'm sorry, you die when they come out, but like, we don't know the timing of like that.
No.
You see that it was from anywhere from a couple of hours to like a day. It was different for everybody that was infected.
Yes, but all rather quickly, so don't have it happen.
Yeah, Starcaller, you recall watching the tadpoles erupt from the handful of injured that were kept within the gate castle, and they were put there because it was farther away from anybody, and the gate castle can be self-contained should something happen. But yeah, you remember very Aliens-esque, reference for everybody of like the chest bursting. Like that's basically what happens is they erupt from the center mass of whatever humanoid they've infected and then try to consume said body and anything else that's living to mutate as fast as possible.
It was a bad time, like a really bad time.
Sucked ass.
10 out of 10 do not recommend.
One other odd thing of note when looking at the anatomy is that within the head of the fully grown Slod, they found these weird gems. But as to the nature of the gems or any of that such like, they have no information on.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Also, the gems were sent with the Slods.
You son of a bitch.
I'm just saying, because they were like, we're not dealing with any of this. We don't want this.
Not today.
They have no sense of adventure.
Not today, Satan.
Well, we gained no further information other than we're fucked.
Well, do we believe that there is a restorative or an antidote which might help with such a thing? Perhaps a system cleanse should any of us get scratched?
There
You
are
gotta
those.
reset your body somehow.
There are those
Perhaps a juice
that
cleanse.
can. All water diet.
The ripple fire will totally clear you if you dump it down
Yes.
your gills. You'll kill
That's
those
actually
little
the
tadpole
secret.
fuckers.
They found the secret and had no idea. You just melt out the tadpoles with severe alcoholism.
Yeah.
Yes.
Only when ingested through the gills, though, which is a convenient discovery.
Mm.
Uh,
That was how the only other Triton that existed in this area died.
Yeah, right.
He was like, for the good of the cause.
Died of unrelated diseases.
Yeah.
I mean, there are magics that can have been known to restore some ailments. I don't know how infestations key into that kind of magic. It's not my practition.
I've heard of parasites which eat things inside. Should you digest them? Perhaps this is a
Fight
Bigger
infestation
fish?
with infestation.
Yes.
You
people
find
sell
a
those here?
symbiotic parasite and you ingest that, and it serves as a protector. I've heard similar things.
What is wrong with you two?
We don't
are
have
quite
time.
Whoa.
it just seems like, yes, bigger parasite to combat. I'm just spitballing.
Have you ever heard the story of Godzilla and King Kong? Basically, this giant monkey and this giant lizard, and whichever one is ailing whatever town of a state or a province that doesn't exist in our reality, they call in the other one because the damage it does to the other creature is far more beneficial than the damage it does to the city itself.
Sephel and Starcaller, as soon as he starts talking about that stuff, it's like just gibberish coming out of his mouth, and you're just like,
my
what
nose
is he
starts
talking
bleeding.
about?
Like,
Yeah, right.
You don't have a nose.
You're like, he's having an attack like Grumbles. What's
not
happening?
that you can see.
Right.
Grumbles appears from the shelves. That's my gig, and then disappears. What do you guys want to do? More research on anything, or?
I think, I'm good to retire.
Yeah, go home and make ready.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's rest up. Big day tomorrow.
Big day. Lots of death. Who knows?
Yep.
Yeah, so you guys head back to the Serpent's Maw to food and drink. There are returning patrons who are like super excited when Scylla walks through the door and are like immediately trying to pull her on to the dance floor and stuff. But after a while, you all eventually retire. A mole does appear for you, Starcaller, giving you 5 more bolts, 5 more of the large bolts, and 3 of the small spherical ones. However, there is a note for you, Scylla, that says there was a hitch with the special shield. Yeah, no, it sucks. However, they sent another one, so you now have a +1 shield.
But there's a hitch with the snail shield.
Yes.
Do I think I'll be getting the snail shield, or is this a +1 shield?
They're like, take this one in the meantime. There is a snafu with some of the gems being imbued within the shield that hadn't had problems with before. But you will be getting one eventually once that's sorted. Okay. And so with your new items in hand and with some drink, food, dance, you all head back up to rest for the evening, unless there's anything anybody else wants to do or any kind of nightly, rituals. No? Okay.
I don't think so.
I think when Scylla goes into the bathtub, if anyone has been seeing her, she's been carving into the Ron's I want to say tooth, but it wasn't a tooth.
It's a
Fang.
It was a tusk.
It's
Tusk.
his tusk.
Yeah. She's been carving into that. She's basically been writing into it in Aquan, the various names that she had given Indigo. So she's been carving into that in her spare time.
Cool. Interesting.
Just a little flavor, a little spice.
Yeah, a little spice. Non-erotic spice.
Little non-erotic
spice. Normal.
Oh, yeah.
Normal ass
Paprika.
spice. Yeah, paprika. A little bit of paprika. And I think that's a really nice scene. Sephel has entered into his meditations. Starcaller throws himself into bed however he does. Stool is happy as a clam, sitting in his corner. And then I imagine by candlelight, we just end the episode with Scylla carving some of Indigo's names into the tusk of Ront. And that's where we ended today.
Oh man, is that the time? We're overdue for another check-in with you fine listeners. Thanks as always for being here right up to the outro. We really appreciate that. You will never believe this, but we recently hit our 1-year podcast anniversary and 3,500 downloads. It's truly been a blast. We're having just a grand old time, and we look forward to another 50 episodes to come. Hopefully you join us for those next 50. That being said, we do have an exciting announcement. We have launched a coffee page. Yes, that's KO-FI page. There's no pressure to do so, but if you want to toss a coin to your witchers, that's us. You can head to ko-fi.com/themadness-table. All donations will go first toward our monthly operating costs, which include our podcast hosting software, items like that. But our ultimate dream is to be able to upgrade our setups to be able to offer live stream recording sessions to get that sweet, sweet video content to accompany our audio. If you're not able to donate, but you want to support the show, we would just adore you if you left that 5-star review in whatever podcatcher you're currently listening in, or if you just spread the word and tell a friend. We would be eternally grateful for that support. So that's it. Until next time, when
the madness continues.